You know, for so many of us entrepreneurs, the ultimate dream is a business that isn't tied down, right? One that can just pick up and go wherever life takes you. But how do you actually build that? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into the story of a military spouse who did just that, built a six-figure business that could move with her. So, I want you to really think about this for a second. Could you build a business that makes six figures and can move with you? I mean, a business that would not just survive, but actually thrive, even if you got told, hey, you're moving across the country tomorrow. It's a massive question, right? And it's exactly what we're talking about today. And the person who cracked this code, that's Megan Harrington. And let me tell you, her journey to running a multi-six-figure agency was not some straight shot to the top. As she says herself, it happened in 3 different phases. It's such a great reminder that real success, it's a process, It's almost never an overnight thing. All right, so where did this whole journey start? Well, it kicked off with a really promising career that, well, it was about to hit a huge wall. So picture this. Megan's got her career going. She's a licensed real estate agent in North Carolina. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Her husband's in the military. And that means they're moving every 2 to 3 years. A state-by-state license? Yeah, that's just not going to work. And this is a huge deal. The unemployment rate for military spouses is staggeringly high, like 25%. And Megan, she was absolutely determined she was not going to be part of that statistic. So, faced with that reality, she did what so many of us do. She pivoted and jumped into entrepreneurship. But you know how it goes, those first few years, they were a real struggle. And I mean, a struggle. For 4 straight years, this was her reality, pulling in about 20 grand a year. She was doing freelance work, making marketing graphics for other realtors. It was money, sure, but it was nowhere near that scalable, freedom-focused business she was dreaming of. And this quote, man, it just says it all. She felt, in her own words, truly clueless. No strategy, just winging it. And on top of that, she was battling that classic imposter syndrome, constantly asking herself if a self-taught freelancer could really be good enough. I mean, how many of us have been there? So what was the turning point? How did she get from that feeling of being clueless to achieving six-figure success? Well, it took a series of absolutely massive life events, all crashing down at the same time, that forced her to just rethink everything from the ground up. Just look at this timeline from 2020. It's like a perfect storm of chaos. First, spring hits, and the pandemic just completely dries up her freelance income. Then in the summer, while she's 5 months pregnant, by the way, the military drops the news they're moving cross-country. And by winter, she's making that move from Virginia all the way to California with a tiny 45-day-old newborn. Can you even imagine? That level of pressure, it wasn't a roadblock. It was a launch pad. It had to be. Okay, so here she is, a new mom with practically zero time, and she has this huge aha moment. She realized she was stuck in the classic time for money trap. You know the one, where your income is directly tied to the hours you can physically work. To break free, she knew she needed something scalable, something that could make money even when she wasn't working. Passive income. And that meant she had to build a real sales funnel. And this is where everything changes. It's the moment it all starts to click into place. She finally has the right tools, but even more important, she figures out the right process. And once she does, her growth just explodes. So here it is, the repeatable process she created. It's genius in its simplicity. First, she made a super high-value freebie. 30 Canva templates. Then, to warm up those leads, she hosted a free masterclass. During that class, she sold a low-priced course for just $59. And then, here's the kicker. She upsold her most dedicated buyers from that course into her premium one-on-one services. It's so simple, right? But unbelievably powerful. And did it work? Oh yeah, the results were immediate. In her very first masterclass, in just 1 hour, she sold $1,100 worth of that $59 course. 1 hour. That was the first real proof that, okay, she was onto something huge. But that was just the appetizer. That small, low-ticket sale was the gateway to this. The same people who bought that little $59 course, they went on to spend $18,000 on her high-ticket services over the next 60 days. It was absolute proof that her funnel wasn't just selling a small product. It was building trust and creating serious, high-value clients. And you might be thinking, okay, maybe she got lucky. But nope, this was no fluke. Just look at these conversion rates. The industry average for freebie funnel converting to a sale is, maybe 10%, if you're lucky? Megan's funnels, they consistently convert between 60 and 80%. That's not just good, that's completely insane. It proves her process wasn't just working for her, it was crushing the industry standard. So, okay, she'd proven the process works. The next logical step? She needed to turn it into a system, a repeatable framework she could use again and again for herself and for her clients. And that's what she did. She calls it the shift method, and it's basically her blueprint for success. The S is for shaping your signature offer. H is for a high-converting brand. I is for implementing your systems. F is for funnel-focused marketing. And that final, all-important T, that's for test, track, and optimize. You can't skip that part. And this method, this shift, this is the result. It's a total transformation. I mean, think about it. She went from that struggling solo freelancer making maybe 20 grand a year to the leader of a multi-six-figure agency. And she didn't just do it on her own, she scaled smart, building a whole powerhouse team around her. So what's her biggest piece of advice after all this? It's basically a warning. She says, don't do what I did. Don't waste 4 years just wandering around with no plan. The lesson here is so clear. You have to get strategic. You have to find a system that actually works, one that can scale your business for real. When you boil it all down, Megan's story is all about the incredible power of finding the right system. Which brings us to our final question, and this one's for you. What's the one system that your business is missing right now? What's that one piece of the puzzle that could unlock your next big level of growth?